If the oil and gas industry is so bad for the environment and is cause for concern for increasing greenhouse gas emissions to contribute to catastrophic climate change, then why is the U.S., a country that blocked the Keystone XL pipeline from being built, so addicted to exports, producing from newly accessible resources and building pipelines? Aren't they the country pointing the finger at Canada for being supposed environmental laggards? In December of 2015, the country lifted its 40-year-old export ban, which excluded Canada, and exports increased by 7 times in 3 months. And that doesn't include exports to Canada, which totaled just over 300,000 barrels per day in 2014. The United States also built the equivalent of 10 Keystone XL pipelines while they were trying to figure out whether to approve the actual plan for the pipeline extension. They've also surpassed Saudi Arabia in oil and gas production, thanks to horizontal drilling techniques, which have made their once inaccessible resources accessible and have pushed them into competitor status. The thing is that Canada has the potential to surpass the US when it comes to production and exports. And this is exactly why the United States government is so opposed to Canada doing business with other countries. They know that Canada could fulfill the gap that they're attempting to fill if only we had pipelines to get our resource to market and could get a social license for production countrywide. In New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, there is 198 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in place in mostly offshore resources. At the same time, both provinces are having a problem accepting fracking due to not having a social license over the climate change fear-mongering and misinformation being spread that the process is dangerous. Nova Scotia currently allows offshore fracking, but a moratorium is in place for onshore fracking, and in New Brunswick, a moratorium was implemented in December of 2014. And even though significant resources are apparent, there's very little activity occurring in comparison. Prince Edward Island also has potential for exploration, but no wells have been drilled since 2003. And then there's the territories. It's estimated that 1/3 of Canada's remaining resources are locked up there, with 56 million barrels of oil in place in the north. A resurgence in exploration and activity is occurring, but it's difficult to produce with little infrastructure in place, like roads in some regions. Canada has the 3rd largest oil reserves in the world, and they're not being tapped into because our people and government are buying into climate change and environmental fear-mongering being imposed upon us by a country that has surpassed the largest producer in the world. We can't seem to get a social license because of the rhetoric being spouted from the left. And it's not only about pipelines. It's about our untapped resources that are tied up either due to climate change freakouts and the public being fed misinformation and limited access to resources due to a need for infrastructure. And by falling for the climate change ruse and being duped by a nation's blatantly hypocritical government that clearly doesn't have climate change and the environment in mind while production and exports increase, Canada loses. And we're just where the United States wants us. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.